Hey, Tim DeStasio here. It is Psychrometric Saturday once again, and we're going to pivot this week. We've been talking a lot about humidity and dew point and condensation. We are now going to pivot to a new property of psychrometrics called wet bulb temperature. Now, wet bulb temperature sounds a lot like dry bulb temperature, but it's of course different. Now, as we remember, dry bulb temperature is across this scale, and those lines go straight up and down. And then the dew point lines, or our moisture lines, our blue lines, are going straight across, and they run from left to right. Think about dry bulb temperature as your sensible heat. This is the temperature that your thermostat, that your thermometers read. And then obviously we've been talking about dew point, which is directly measuring how much moisture is in the air. That's what we call measuring latent heat, or the heat that's in the moisture of the air. Wet bulb temperature is actually the combination of dry bulb sensible heat and dew point latent heat. So it's really a good way to measure how much heat is in the air. So if we were using a red line for dry bulb temperature and blue lines for moisture like dew point, what happens when we combine dry bulb temperature with dew point? Well, of course, if I were to combine this red liquid with this blue liquid, we get purple. So when we plot wet bulb temperature, we're going to be using a purple line. So if we're combining dry bulb and dew point together, and dry bulb goes straight up and down and dew point goes left to right, it only makes sense that our wet bulb temperature would be a diagonal line. And those are the diagonal lines that you see on the full psychrometric chart. Now, obviously, I've got a simplified chart here because we're trying to keep it simple. We're trying to not intimidate anybody by the chart. But just know that now this is an extra set of lines that we're going to be dealing with when it comes to psychrometrics. We're going to be talking about wet bulb temperature. Next time we talk, we'll be plotting points using wet bulb temperature and talking about how we use it when designing air conditioning systems, when sizing systems, even when charging air conditioning systems. So stay tuned next time for Psychrometric Saturday.